Stop scrolling. This coin could change your life. Don't ignore this. Most people don't realize this, but coins worth far more than their face value are still sitting quietly in circulation. And that's exactly why collectors are always watching. Right now, if there's an Indian head 1-cent coin or a Canadian 1-cent penny anywhere near you, and the date ends in a 4, do not spend it. Yes, I'm serious. Some rare Indian head cents and Canadian pennies, with the right year, condition, or rare minting error, have sold for over $35,000. Yes, for a single penny. And here's the secret nobody talks about. The less people understand these coins, the easier they are for collectors to pull them out of circulation. So before you spend that penny, check your pocket, check your wallet, check your change jar, because the coin you ignore today could be worth thousands tomorrow. And trust me, from here the coins only get rarer, scarier, and more valuable. Stay with me until the end. This is Numismatic Vault Extra, USA, United States. And these coins change everything. Money bag. The story of the 1894 Indian head 1-cent coin begins in the fascinating era of 19th century America, a time when the nation was growing rapidly and its currency was evolving alongside it. In those years, small copper coins were the backbone of everyday trade. A single cent might buy a newspaper, a piece of candy, or even a loaf of bread. Yet hidden among the millions of coins circulating through shops, rail stations, and markets, some pieces carried a deeper story, one that would later capture the attention of collectors and historians around the world. The Indian head cent was part of a long tradition of American 1-cent coins that reflected the identity of the nation. The design was created by James Barton Longacre, a talented engraver who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint in the mid-1800s. Longacre wanted the coin to symbolize liberty and strength, so he designed a portrait that combined classical beauty with a uniquely American identity. On the front of the coin appears the famous image of Liberty, wearing a Native American-style headdress. Although many people believe the portrait represents an indigenous person, it is actually a symbolic representation of Liberty herself. Above the portrait is the word Liberty, and surrounding the design is the inscription, United States of America. This artistic combination created one of the most recognizable designs in American coin history. The reverse side of the coin is equally elegant. It features a simple but beautiful wreath surrounding the words 1 cent. Early versions of the Indian head cent included a small shield above the wreath, symbolizing unity and strength during a period when the United States was still recovering from the challenges of the Civil War. By the time 1894 arrived, the Indian head cent had already been circulating for more than 3 decades. It was introduced in 1859 and quickly became one of the most familiar coins in the United States. Millions of Americans carried these coins in their pockets every day, using them for small purchases and everyday transactions. The 1894 Indian head cent was produced at the historic United States Mint facility in Philadelphia. During that era, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint typically did not include a mint mark. This is why the 1894 Indian head cent appears without any identifying letter beneath the design. The coin itself was made primarily of copper, giving it the warm reddish-brown color that collectors admire today. Its composition included approximately 95% copper, combined with small amounts of tin and zinc, creating a durable alloy that could withstand years of circulation. The physical dimensions of the coin were small but distinctive. The Indian head cent measured about 19 millimeters in diameter and weighed just over 3 grams. Despite its small size, it played an enormous role in everyday commerce during the late 19th century. In 1894, the United States Mint produced millions of these coins to meet the needs of a growing economy. At the time, the United States was expanding westward. Railroads were connecting distant regions, and cities were growing rapidly. Small coins like the Indian head cent were essential for everyday trade. Because so many coins were produced, most 1894 Indian head cents circulated heavily. They passed from hand to hand in markets, general stores, and railway stations. Over time, many of them became worn, their details softened by decades of use. However, coin collectors know that condition can dramatically change the value of a coin. A worn coin might be worth only a few dollars, But a coin preserved in exceptional condition can become highly valuable. Coins that remain in uncirculated condition are especially prized by collectors. These coins still display the sharp details and natural shine they had when they first left the mint. Because very few coins survive more than a century without wear, high-grade examples are extremely rare. The world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, places great importance on grading. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification and assign them a numerical grade based on their condition. A coin graded at a high level, such as mint state 65 or above, can command significant attention in the collector market. These coins are admired not only for their rarity, but also for the beauty of their preserved design. Some remarkable examples of the 1894 Indian head cent have sold for thousands of dollars in auctions when they appeared in exceptional condition. Coins with vibrant original color and nearly flawless surfaces can reach impressive prices among serious collectors. Stories of valuable coins often inspire people to examine their own collections more closely. Old coin jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers sometimes hold pieces that have not been examined for decades. The excitement of discovering a historic coin from the 19th century is part of what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Holding a coin like the 1894 Indian head cent connects a person directly with the past. When this coin was first struck, the United States was experiencing rapid industrial growth. Electric lights were beginning to appear in cities. Steam locomotives were crossing the continent, and new inventions were transforming everyday life. Each Indian head cent circulated during that era witnessed small moments of history. It might have been used by a farmer buying supplies, a traveler purchasing a train ticket, or a child buying a sweet treat from a corner store. Today, more than a century later, the coin stands as a small but powerful reminder of that period in American history. Its copper surface carries the marks of time, yet its design still reflects the artistic vision of its creator. Collectors around the world continue to search for well-preserved examples of Indian head cents. For them, each coin represents both historical significance and the possibility of hidden value. Although most 1894 Indian head cents are not worth enormous fortunes, rare high-grade examples can still command impressive prices. A beautifully preserved coin may be valued at hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity. That is why many enthusiasts carefully examine every old coin they encounter. What appears to be an ordinary copper penny might actually be a small treasure waiting to be recognized. And somewhere in an old collection or forgotten jar of coins, an 1894 Indian head cent might still be quietly resting, holding within its copper surface a story from another century and the enduring fascination of America's coinage history. Next up, the story of the 1878 Indian head 1-cent coin begins in a fascinating period of American history when the nation was rebuilding, expanding, and shaping its identity after the Civil War. Small copper coins were essential to daily life in those years. A single penny could buy a newspaper, a sweet treat, or a small household item. Yet within these humble coins existed a powerful connection to the past. Today, the 1878 Indian head cent stands as a small piece of American heritage, admired by collectors who appreciate its artistry, age, and the story it carries. The Indian head cent itself was introduced decades earlier, in 1859, and quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. The design was created by James Barton Longacre, an artist whose work shaped many of America's 19th century coins. Longacre wanted the design to represent the spirit of liberty in a uniquely American way, blending classical symbolism with imagery that reflected the culture of the nation. On the front of the coin appears the famous portrait often called the Indian head. Despite the name, the image actually represents liberty wearing a feathered headdress inspired by Native American traditions. This creative choice symbolized strength, independence, and the frontier spirit that defined much of American identity in the 19th century. Above the portrait is the word liberty, while the outer edge of the coin displays the inscription, United States of America. The reverse side of the coin carries a design that is simple yet elegant. At the center appear the words 1 cent, surrounded by a wreath of oak leaves and a small shield at the top. This shield symbolized unity and resilience during a time when the nation was healing from the divisions of war. The design remained largely unchanged for many years and became one of the most recognizable reverse designs in American coinage. By the time 1878 arrived, the Indian head cent had already been circulating for nearly 20 years. Millions of Americans carried these copper coins in their pockets every day. They were used in general stores, markets, railway stations, and small businesses across the growing country. The 1878 Indian head cent was struck at the historic United States Mint facility in Philadelphia. During that era, coins produced in Philadelphia typically did not carry a mint mark. As a result, the 1878 coin appears without any identifying letter beneath the design. The coin itself was made primarily of copper, giving it a warm reddish-brown appearance that collectors still admire today. Its composition was about 95% copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc added to create a durable alloy. This mixture helped the coin survive years of circulation while maintaining its distinctive color. Physically, the Indian head cent was small but distinctive. It measured approximately 19 millimeters in diameter and weighed just over 3 grams. Despite its modest size, the coin played an important role in everyday commerce during the late 19th century. During 1878, the United States Mint produced millions of these coins to support a growing economy. The country was experiencing rapid development. Railroads were expanding across the continent. New industries were emerging, and cities were growing larger each year. Small coins like the Indian head cent were essential for everyday transactions. Because so many of these coins circulated widely, most surviving examples today show signs of wear. Over decades of use, the fine details of the design often became softened, and the coin's surface developed a darker brown tone from oxidation. However, in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A worn coin might have only modest value, but a well-preserved coin can be significantly more desirable. Collectors carefully examine details, such as the sharpness of the portrait, the clarity of the wreath, and the presence of original color. Coins that remain in uncirculated condition are particularly prized. These coins were never used in everyday commerce and still display the original shine created when they were struck at the mint. Their surfaces remain crisp, and the fine details of the design are fully visible. Professional grading organizations evaluate coins using a detailed numerical scale. Coins that achieve high grades, such as Mint State 65 or above, are extremely rare for coins more than a century old. When such coins appear in auctions, collectors often compete intensely to obtain them. Exceptional examples of the 1878 Indian head cent have been known to sell for thousands of dollars when preserved in remarkable condition. Coins with bright original color and nearly flawless surfaces are especially valuable to serious collectors. Stories about valuable coins often capture the imagination of people everywhere. The idea that a small copper penny could hold significant value encourages many individuals to search through old collections and inherited coin jars. For collectors, however, the value of a coin goes beyond money. Each coin represents a moment in history. The 1878 Indian head cent was struck during a time when the United States was expanding rapidly and building the foundations of its modern economy. When this coin first entered circulation, Americans were witnessing remarkable changes in technology and society. Railroads connected distant towns, telegraph lines carried messages across the country, and new inventions were transforming everyday life. Each penny passed through countless hands, quietly witnessing the small moments of history that shaped the nation. It might have been used by a farmer purchasing supplies, a traveler buying a train ticket, or a child buying candy from a local shop. Today, the 1878 Indian head cent remains a beloved coin among collectors and historians. Its copper surface carries the marks of time, yet its design still reflects the artistic vision of its creator and the spirit of the era in which it was made. Although most examples are not worth enormous fortunes, rare high-grade coins can still command impressive prices in the collector market. These coins are treasured for their rarity, beauty, and connection to the past. And somewhere, perhaps hidden in an old family collection or resting quietly in a forgotten coin jar, an 1878 Indian head cent might still be waiting to be rediscovered, holding within its copper surface a story from another century and the timeless fascination of America's coinage history. Next up, The story of the 1995 Canadian 1-cent coin begins with a long history of the humble penny in Canada. For generations, this small copper coin played a powerful role in everyday life. It might have seemed like a tiny and ordinary piece of money, but for more than a century the Canadian penny connected people to commerce, history, and national identity. In shops, markets, and small neighborhood stores, this simple coin helped people complete their daily transactions and became one of the most familiar pieces of currency in the country. The Canadian 1-cent coin, often called the penny, was first introduced in 1858 and continued to be produced for more than 150 years. Over that long period, the coin changed in appearance several times, reflecting different monarchs and artistic styles. Yet the core purpose of the penny remained the same. It represented the smallest unit of Canadian currency and played an important role in everyday economic life. Wikipedia. By the time the year 1995 arrived, the design of the Canadian penny had already become iconic. The front of the coin featured a portrait of Elizabeth II, whose image appeared on Canadian coins for decades. Her portrait on the 1995 coin was created by artist Dora de Pettery Hunt, who designed one of the most recognizable royal portraits used on Canadian currency. Surrounding the portrait were the Latin words Elizabeth II DG Regina, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. This traditional inscription reflected the long-standing connection between Canadian coinage and the monarchy. The reverse side of the 1995 Canadian penny carried a design that had become a beloved symbol of the nation. It showed two delicate maple leaves attached to a single twig, along with the words 1 cent and Canada. The maple leaf has long been a powerful national emblem representing the natural beauty and unity of the country. This elegant design was created by artist George Edward Kruger, whose work appeared on many coins throughout the British Commonwealth. His maple leaf design remained on Canadian pennies for decades and became one of the most recognizable coin designs in North America. The 1995 penny was produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, the institution responsible for manufacturing Canada's coins. Millions of coins were struck every year to ensure that the country's economy had enough small change for daily transactions. In fact, the production of the 1995 1-cent coin was enormous. Records show that more than 624 million pennies were minted that year. Because of this very large production, the coin became extremely common in circulation. en.forenum.com+1. The physical characteristics of the coin were simple but practical. The 1995 penny measured about 19.1 millimeters in diameter and weighed approximately 2.5 grams. It was made primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it the classic reddish-brown color that many people associate with traditional pennies. en.forenum.com+1. Gray sheet. During the 1990s, coins like the 1995 penny circulated widely across Canada. They passed through countless hands in supermarkets, cafes, gas stations, and small businesses. Children used them to buy candy, commuters used them for small purchases, and shopkeepers handled them every day. Over time, however, inflation gradually reduced the purchasing power of the penny. What once could buy a newspaper or a piece of candy eventually became worth so little that it was rarely used in everyday transactions. Despite its small value, the penny remained culturally significant in Canada for many decades. It became part of popular sayings, traditions, and even childhood memories. Eventually, the government decided to discontinue the penny because producing it cost more than its face value. In 2012, Canada officially stopped minting the 1-cent coin, bringing an end to more than 150 years of penny production. Because pennies are no longer produced, many people began saving them as small historical souvenirs. Old jars of pennies and coin collections suddenly became reminders of a chapter of Canadian monetary history that had come to an end. In the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin depends on several factors: the year of minting, the number of coins produced, the condition of the coin, and the presence of unusual minting errors can all affect its worth. Most 1995 Canadian pennies are still very common because so many were produced. A typical circulated coin might only be worth a few cents to collectors. However, coins preserved in extremely high grades, especially those with bright original red copper color, can be more desirable to collectors who seek the finest examples for their collections. Occasionally, coins may also contain minting errors, such as double designs, off-center strikes, or unusual metal blanks. These rare mistakes can dramatically increase the value of a coin. Stories about valuable coins often spread quickly online. Some people claim that certain pennies might be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. While such claims are usually exaggerated, rare era coins or exceptionally preserved pieces can sometimes sell for significant prices among collectors. The fascination with coins is not only about money. It is also about the stories they carry. A coin like the 1995 Canadian penny represents a moment in time, a snapshot of the economy, technology, and culture of the era in which it was made. When someone holds this small copper coin, they are touching a piece of history that once traveled through countless shops and pockets across the country. For collectors, each coin is a tiny historical artifact. The marks on its surface, the shine of its metal, and the details of its design all tell part of a larger story about the past. And somewhere today, perhaps in an old coin jar or a forgotten drawer, a 1995 Canadian penny might still be waiting to be rediscovered, quietly carrying the memory of an era when even the smallest coin played an important role in everyday life. Next up,